When dividing with decimals, instead of figuring out where the decimal will go in your answer at the end, like we do with multiplication, you figure out where it will go at the beginning. It's easier to divide by whole numbers. So we're going to make the number we're dividing by a whole number by moving the decimal one place to the right. Then to keep the problem equal, we also move the decimal underneath the division symbol one place to the right. And then it goes right above where we've moved it. Now you'll divide just like any other long division problem. 4 divides into 5 one time. Multiply 1 times 4 and subtract. Bring down the next number, the 2. 4 goes into 12 3 times. Multiply, subtract. That's just 0. Bring down the 8. 4 goes into 8 2 times. Multiply and subtract. No remainder. Our answer is 132. For the next problem, let's make 1.7 into a whole number by moving the decimal point one place to the right. So then we also have to move the inside decimal place one to the right, and then write it right above where we moved it. Then I'm trying to divide 17 into 84. That goes 4 times. 4 times 17 is 68. And subtract, and we get 16. Bring down the 6. 17 goes into 166 9 times. 9 times 17 is 153. Subtract, and we get 13. By the way, I'm not calculating these that quickly in my head. I've used a calculator to help me speed things up a little bit. So you can do the same thing. Just use a calculator to see how many times 17 will go into, for instance, right now, 136. 17 will go into 136 8 times. Multiply 8 times 17 and you get 136. So again, no remainder, 49.8. But if there is a remainder, then we have to fill in the number that's being divided into. We have to start filling in zeros until we either end up with no remainder, or a pattern is repeating, or most often we're just told where to round to so that we know when we can stop. For example, if our instructions are to round to the tenths place, let's look at 5.75. If I want to round this to the tenths place, which is the 7, I look to the number to the right. If it's 5 or bigger, then I bump the 7 up. So in order to round, you have to have a number to the right to look at. If I'm going to round to the tenths place, then I have to have something in the hundredths place to look at to see if I need to leave my number alone or if I need to make it larger. So let's look at a couple of division problems where we'll need to round. This one says round to the nearest tenth. So that means I'll need to keep going in my division problem to the hundredths place, which is 2 decimal places out. Okay, look at 0.47. We want that to be a whole number, so that means moving the decimal 2 places to the right. If I move that decimal 2 places to the right, I also have to move the inside decimal 2 places to the right. Now, 47 won't go into 38. So I look at 381. 47 goes into 381 8 times. Multiply, it's 376. Subtract, and we get 5. So I have a remainder of 5, but I need to go out to the hundredths place. So we'll put a 0 at the end. You can fill as many zeros as you want to at the end of a number that's a decimal. Bring the 0 down. 47 goes into 50 one time. Now really you can stop there because we need to go out to hundredths in order to round back to tenths, and we've done that. So if I look at the 1, it's not 5 or bigger. That means I leave the 8 like it is, and rounded to the nearest tenth is 0.8. For this one, we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. That's 2 decimal places, and so I'm going to have to go out to thousandths, 3 decimal places, so I can go back and look at the hundredths. I'm dividing 0.55 into 7. So I need to move the decimal on the 55 2 places to make that a whole number. And if I move it 2 places on the outside, I have to also move it 2 places on the inside. So I'm going to need some zeros right away. 1, 2 places. Now I divide 55 into 70. That goes 1 time. Multiply and subtract. That is 15. Bring down the 0. 55 into 150 goes twice. Multiply 110. Subtract is 40. Now I've run out of numbers, so I need more zeros to bring down. 55 into 400 goes 7 times. Multiply 385. Subtract 15 again. I'm not out to the thousandths place yet, so I need to keep going. Add another 0. 55 into 150. We've already seen that. That goes twice. Multiply 110. 40. Bring down another 0. 55 into 400 goes 7 times. So now I'm out to the thousandths place. I can stop because I want to round to the hundredths. So I look at the 7. It's bigger than 5, so that means the 2 needs to bump up 1. 12.73. If you'll notice, this number seems to be following a pattern. 272727 is going to keep repeating. If you're not asked to round, sometimes you can indicate that this is a repeating decimal by putting a bar over the part that keeps repeating. So we would say that is 12.72 repeating. But if you're asked to round, then you definitely want to stop at the point you're told to round and stop there.